We are midway through week 2 of Success Up September. How are we feeling? I have more success amplification sessions happening today. I literally could not be more pumped for these to help even more women create amplified success. I'm having so much fun in these sessions. We are just literally removing block after block. And it's like, okay, where do you want to go? Let's figure out how to get you there. How can we have the most fun getting you there? I'm literally loving these. I've never done one-off sessions like this before. And it is so fun just to meet new people, figure out where they want to go, and figure out how to help them get there and what success looks like. So if you want in on this week's sessions are sold out. I have more sessions coming next week. So you can send me a message to book your spot today, or you can visit soulmakeup.com. Scroll down on the homepage. You will see a spot to get your session, and you can secure your time to chat with me, and we will figure out how to amplify your success right now. We are not waiting. We are doing the damn thing right now. So, okay, have you listened to this week's podcast? It was all about making a lasting and memorable impression. If so, how was this for you? I want to know your takeaways. I know last week's podcast, my secret formula to get everything you want in life, both personally and professionally, it is going gangbusters. It has literally had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of listens. I'm so happy these have been valuable for you. I'm dying to know your takeaways from this week's episode. So please keep sending these to my inbox. I'm loving your feedback. I'm loving seeing how you're taking this and just running 100,000 miles an hour with these tools. This is the best that I could ever hope for. You all are doing the damn thing, and I'm celebrating you. If you have not listened to these yet, if you are new to my podcast, it's called The Confidence Lounge. You can get this on Apple or Spotify. These episodes drop every single Monday. We have 2 more focused on success coming the rest of this month. So drop in, check this out. There's so many. I think I'm up to 80 something episodes. There's so much here for you. So definitely check into The Confidence Lounge. And I've had a bunch of new connections through Success Up September happening. I'm seeing a bunch of you join my email list. I'm so excited to offer you that there too. If you want to get on that, you can tap the link in my bio or send me a message. I'll add you. And you also get your confidence generating toolkit when you join my email list. So I'm so excited to welcome you all to my community. I'm so honored for you all to be here doing this work. I'm so proud of you for being here to do this work on you. If you are new, I'm Elise. Nice to meet you. I'm a coach, and what we are coaching on today is how to build your confidence and your belief in the value that you bring to the table. Are you ready? I'm so pumped to walk you through this. So in this mini training, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be giving you my exclusive formula that I've used with hundreds of women that I've coached one-on-one to help you determine the exact value that you have to offer this world, both personally and professionally. Because truly, once you know your value, this is one of the biggest and most powerful success tools that you can ever have in your toolbox, because the belief in your value that you have today is the foundation for your success tomorrow. So by you believing in you now, by you knowing, okay, this is what I have to offer this world, I feel super certain, super confident, super secure in this area. It's going to change the way that you show up in this world. It's going to change the way that you approach business, that you approach all of your relationships personally. Everything in your life will change when you know this about yourself. So I will walk you through this, and I want to talk to you about this. So my whole entire goal in this training today is for you to leave here knowing the exact value that you bring to the table, because I'm going to give you every single question that you need to ask yourself to understand this about yourself, once again, both personally and professionally. Okay, the reason why this is important and really knowing your value is it's going to be the difference between you getting the job and not getting the job. It's going to be the difference between you negotiating with confidence when you are in the process of getting a job, when you are in the process of doing business, because you understand that you are an asset, versus being in a place where you're settling for less because you're confused on what you bring to the table. This is going to be the difference between you securely walking away from a job or a personal relationship because you know that you deserve more. This is going to be the difference between you being seen as being indispensable, meaning you can be let go at any time, versus being an asset that people are unwilling to let go of because they know, I can't do life without this person. I have to have her here with me. And they don't ever want to see you replaced. And it is truly the difference of being in a space where you are getting your name dropped left and right in rooms full of opportunities, and people are selling your value because they know, they've seen you demonstrate your value. They know you are an asset. They know you are a secret weapon, and they are literally out there singing your praises, telling people, oh my God, you have to hire her. You have to work with her. You have to buy from her, right? So knowing your value is the difference between where you are now and where you want to be. And I want to really get crystal clear here, right? So let's first start talking about exactly what value is, because I feel like this is kind of a buzzword right now that's being tossed around, and why you need to know this about yourself. So when we consult the good old dictionary, which is what I love to do, value is defined as the importance in worth or the usefulness of something, right? So the importance, the worth, and the usefulness of something. So I find a lot of times people think, oh, the value is created in my skill set. Correct. But the real value is created in your thinking via your mindset. Have you ever heard this before? So every single result you have in your life is developed by what you think and what you believe. So the way that our brain works is we have things that happen in life. We have thoughts and beliefs about these things that happen. Those thoughts and beliefs generate our feelings in our body. We take action based on how we do or do not want to feel. And that's what creates the result that we have in our life, right? So you can take all the action in the world and it can be beautiful actions. But if you're taking action based upon a lack of confidence, or you're taking action based upon doubt, or you're taking action fueled by insecurity and fear, it's obviously going to produce a very different result as if you were taking action from a place of certainty and taking action from a place of confidence and taking action from a place of this deep inner knowing of exactly the value that you have to bring to the table, which is why we are here having this conversation today, because I see so many women get in their own way because they know where they want to go, but these little doubts creep up, these little uncertainties are starting to get in their head. They start overthinking it, right? Next thing you know, they're not getting where they want to go. And it feels really painful as they go through that process. So your thoughts are going to create your reality. So if your thoughts about your success and the value that you have to bring to the table are negative, this will always show up in the results that you are creating both personally and professionally. So let's get ahead of this. Let's start looking to see if that could be potentially what is blocking you from being where you want to be. Because if we are going into, let's say, a job interview, and your predominant thinking is, oh, I don't even know what I have to offer. I don't even know if I'm qualified for this. I'm sure everyone else out there is better than me, but I desperately need this job. And, I would be so lucky to have this job, versus being in the place where you walk into that interview thinking, I am the catch. They need me. I know exactly how I'm going to make this company more valuable. I will make this company more valuable because of my presence here. And I'm going to show them why, right? That's a very different way of thinking. They need me versus like, oh, I desperately need them, right? Your energy is going to be totally different when you show up in that mindset. Let's talk about personal relationships and how this could show up. So let's say you're going on a first date and you walk into this date thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. I really don't have anything to offer this person. I don't even know why they're on a date with me. There's probably so many better options out there. Okay, very different way of thinking versus being in the place and living in the mindset of they'd be so lucky to have me. I am the ultimate catch. Being with me is like winning the jackpot in life. Their life is going to get better because of my presence in it. I will never settle for less than what I deserve because I have so much to offer somebody. Imagine going on a first date, having that level of certainty in yourself. Let's say you want to start a business, right? And you're like me and you're like, okay, I really want to do this thing, but you start taking action. And the first thing that you think about is, oh, I don't really have anything valuable to offer anybody. So I don't even know what I want my business to be. I don't really know how I could really ever help anybody. I don't know what I want to sell or what products I want to create, versus being in a place of, I'm going to start this business because I have a solution that will change this world. And I cannot wait one more second to hold my solution back from this world, right? You can see the difference in the energy here. So when you are sold on yourself, when you are 100% hell yes on you, you've got to listen to me because I have so much to teach you. I have so much to offer you. Here's why this one conversation with me is going to make X amount of value in your life, in your business, whatever it is. It's a very different way of showing up than thinking, oh, I don't know. I don't know. That's a very disempowered way of thinking of yourself. So I don't want you to spend any time in the space of selling yourself the lie that you don't know, because somewhere in you, you know the answer to what makes you valuable. And maybe you just haven't dug into it, right? Not a lot of us sit in a place, unless you're into personal development or professional development like me, just thinking about this all day. Not a lot of us spend a lot of time thinking about, what makes me valuable, right? That's not where our brain naturally goes. So that's why we're here having this conversation today. So I want to ask you, in this moment, do you know what makes you valuable? And I don't know is not an answer that's available. I don't know is an answer that is a surface level answer that will always keep you from truly accessing your deepest and most valuable knowing in yourself. So don't subscribe to the lie that you don't know, because somewhere within you, you do know. You just haven't decided yet, or you haven't done the deep thinking to actually unearth the knowledge that is already inside of you. So let's think about what makes you valuable for a second. Is it your ability to solve problems, right? You're super resourceful. You're always ahead of it. You're always seeking solutions. You are your own Google. Is it your ability to manage and lead a team? You are somebody who is trusted, right? People feel safe coming to you when there is a challenge because you are an incredible leader. Is it you have the ability to inspire people to move forward? So you are somebody who's like, oh my gosh, we have to do this. Your vision is so big. People just subscribe to what you want to do, so they want to follow you. Is it your ideas generate millions of dollars? I know this was the reality I lived in working for companies before I started my own business. I was a product developer and marketer. So my ideas generated companies millions and millions and millions of dollars. They're still sitting on, the products I developed are still sitting on shelves in some of the biggest retailers in the world. And those companies are still reaping the benefits of what my brain created, right? So do your ideas and your concepts generate millions of dollars for the companies that you work for? Is it your ability to take accountability, right? You're like, oh, I messed up. And here's how I'm going to learn from it. Here's how I'm going to grow from it. And that inspires people to say, oh my God, look at her owning her shit. And that just absolutely creates so much respect and so much adoration for you. Is it your a willingness to go above and beyond, right? Maybe you're a super proactive person. You're the one who's always like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to figure it out. I'm going to stay late. We're going to get it done. Is it your relationships and connections? So you add value through the relationships that you have. A lot of people get hired in jobs because of the relationships that they have. A lot of people have success in business because of their connections. Is that what you have to offer? Is it your years of experience doing the work that you do and the wisdom that you bring to the table? Is it your efficiency and your ability to get it all done? Is it a calm, grounding energy that you bring into the environment that helps reduce stress in the overall organization? Because you are just that calm, quiet force that everyone's like, oh my God, I feel like when I go around her, I can just breathe again. She's just so calming. That's a very underutilized skill that I find a lot of people don't see value in. But when you have the ability to ground and really help to reduce stress and chaos, that is a very valuable skill, my friend. Is it your adaptability, right? So maybe you're the queen of the pivot. You're like, oh, no curveball is going to get me. You just deal with change. Change is no big deal. You're like, yeah, just on to the next. Okay, this didn't work. We're doing this now, right? That's a very valuable skill too. Is it your ability to ask very valuable questions and always help to lead people to the truth that we need in order to move forward? Is it you are a planner and you are a strategizer and you are able to make process improvements that help make the machine run even more efficiently? Is it your ability to produce sunshine, right? Maybe you're just that warm energy in the room that everyone's like, oh, her presence just feels like sunshine. And you have the ability to bring that energy into every single meeting to where people just feel like lifted up. You are just that, the bringer of fun, we'll call it, if that's even a way to say that. And you make the culture in the workplace a better place just because you just bring positivity, right? You're like that unicorn that just shits out sunshine. I love being that person for people. I think that it is so fun to lift the whole entire vibration of a room up by just bringing in sunshine and positivity and optimism and that can-do attitude. Is it your ability to love unconditionally and approach relationships without judgment and instead lean into empathy and compassion? Because those are also soft skills that are very undervalued. So, what makes you valuable? Is it something that I had on this list? Or is it something that is outside of this list that yes, that is my secret sauce. That is my unique genius. Own it, right? So let's go deeper into this. I want to talk two facets of this. We're going to talk professionally, we're going to talk personally, because I think that we need to look at both because you need to know what you bring to the table in both aspects of life. This is why I coach on life and business is because one is always going to impact the other. So maybe you might be feeling like you're killing it at work, but life and, personally is really a mess, right? It might be the opposite for you. I know for me, I lived in a place where I was always killing it professionally and then behind the scenes, my personal life was a hot mess, right? So you might be in that place. So that's why we need to look at both because both are equal. And if we're not having harmony and balance, it's always going to be in that place where maybe once again, professionally, we're like, yes, doing amazing, but then personally, we're suffering. So we want to bring balance and harmony into the two. So let's ask a couple questions right now. So we're going to start off talking professional. Would you hire you right now? And why? I love asking the women that I work with that question because sometimes they say no. They're like, no, I'm a mess, right? I am really struggling here. I'm feeling all sorts of doubt here. I'm really questioning myself here. I'm feeling a lot of insecurity here. I don't even know over here, right? So they're not clear on the value that they bring to the table and they wouldn't hire themselves because of that. So let's get honest, right? Change starts with honesty. So where do you need to get honest with yourself? So would you hire you right now in this moment? And if so, why or why not? And I want to dive deeper into this and really talk about if you did hire you, what are you hiring you for? So, what are your most bankable skills right now? I did a podcast on this. If you need this, this is inside the Confidence Lounge right now. I want to say I did this podcast maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. So scroll down, you'll see it. But it's all about your bankable skills. So these are the skills that drive your pay. And I find a lot of us don't know the answer to that question. So let's say you get a salary of $100,000 a year and a company is paying you that salary. What is that company getting for that salary, right? So what do they get for $100,000 by hiring you? Meaning, when you walk in the door, X is going to happen. So, what are those skills that you are bringing to the table that justify that pay and drive that pay? So, when we think of people that are in a C-suite role, right, they are bringing certain skills to the table that drive that pay. So, they might be getting a salary of, let's say, $300,000 to $500,000 per year. I know a lot of my clients that are in C-suite positions, that's where they're landing, and it's because of their ability to solve problems. It's because of their ability to lead. It's because of their ability to have really uncomfortable conversations. It's because of their ability to make really powerful decisions. So they are bringing a lot of valuable skills to the table, which is a huge driving force in their pay. So do you know, let's say what your top 3 bankable skills are? For me, it's my ability to lead, develop, and create connection. That is what has created a multi-6-figure business for me. That is what has created millions of dollars when I was in my corporate career, right? So I've generated millions of dollars for myself and also for the brands that I've worked for. And that is why I commanded such a high salary when I was working in these roles, is because of those 3 skills. So what are those skills for you? And I want you to think about, if you are, let's say you're hiring for a role right now, how is your presence at this company going to directly impact the bottom line of this company? So if we drew a chart, you walk in the door, your presence creates X dollars because, right? And a part of your brain might be like, oh, well, I don't really know what exactly I would do. Maybe you're in a secretarial position or an admin position. Okay. Are you creating ease? Are you having to order things? Are you having to manage inventory? Are you having to do calls? Like that, then bring in leads, right? Don't ever minimize because you're in, let's say if you're in something less than a managerial role, don't ever minimize the work that you are doing. I want you to start thinking of yourself as every single thing that I do every single day is generating the ability to be a 6-figure earner. It is making me a millionaire. I have to acquire all of these skills in order to get to the next level because that's a fact. I think about my career trajectory. I started when I was 15 and a half years old working at McDonald's. And truly, some of the biggest things that I learned working at McDonald's, how to work under pressure, how to manage multiple things, how to have customer conversations, right? I got punched in the face working at McDonald's. I had McFlurries thrown at me. I had cheeseburgers thrown at my face, right? That was really hard to manage at 15 years old. So I think about now how I've learned how to be adaptable, how I've been able to work under extreme pressure, how I've been able to deal with conflict when people are screaming at me in my face. And those were all skills that I acquired working at McDonald's. So don't ever minimize the skills that you have learned, regardless of what role it is that you're in and regardless of what you're getting paid, because you need to learn X to get to Z. So you have to learn these skills. So tell yourself the story of this skill is making me a millionaire, right? Versus being in a place of like, oh, why am I even wasting my time doing this? You're not wasting your time. You're learning how to do something, and that is the most valuable use of your time. So let's start looking at it in that way because that makes you valuable, all the skills that you have. I think of all the skills that I have to bring to the table now, and it is insane how many skills I have in my toolbox, like literally insane. And that is why I make so much money. It's because I have so many skills to offer. I had a client who hired me for business coaching when I first started my business, and I helped her develop a product, put out the product. I was helping her do her own PR. I helped her figure out how to actually create the digital product on the back end, do all the promotional strategy, create the timelines, create the budget. Then on top of it, we did a whole entire video shoot where I helped her hire the whole entire team, negotiate the contracts. And then ironically, the day of after we figured out where the location was going to be, we hired all the teams. I went and bought all the snacks because I've done so many photo shoots and video shoots, right? I knew exactly what snacks we were going to need to sustain us. I did her hair and makeup. Like literally when she hired me as her coach, did she think she was going to get a hair and makeup artist and somebody who was going to actually be her event coordinator and do all of this as she's, putting her products out there? No, but I have done a lot of things in my life, which makes me extremely valuable, right? So I just think, I choose to believe in any situation, I'm going to add so much value because of all of the skills that I bring to the table. I want you to have that same belief about yourself too. So would you hire you? What are your top 3 bankable skills? What did they get for the salary that they're paying you? And how does your presence directly impact the bottom line of the company that you are working for? Knowing this about yourself is going to make you so much more valuable. It is going to create so much more money and success for you, right? And let's say you're starting a business. Once again, same questions apply. How are you going to make your own business more valuable? How are you your own secret weapon in your own business? How are your skills that you have acquired over your whole entire career doing whatever it is that you did? And even if you're a stay-at-home mom, right? You're running a household, you are working under pressure, you are dealing with kids who would need you. I mean, I'm a new mom, so I feel this hardcore. So I'm managing a household, I'm managing a business. They are both equally important, right? Both have their own individual needs, both have skills that I had to acquire in order to succeed at both of those things, right? Being a stay-at-home mom is one of the hardest jobs you will ever face in your life. So do not ever sell yourself a story that you're not valuable because you're a stay-at-home mom. I don't ever want to hear you tell yourself that lie. Okay, next, I want you to ask yourself, what are you an expert in? Right? So if you had to let's say you had to do a TED Talk right now on one thing that you are an expert in, what would you talk about? If you had to spend 15 minutes talking about something that you were an expert in, what is that? I know for me, it would be confidence, right? I love talking about confidence. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. Okay, that's going to be a beautiful way asking yourself that question to understand where your value really lives. Because where you feel like an expert, and let's say you feel like an expert in gardening, right? For me, I used to feel like an expert working on cars because I spent my whole, childhood and teenage years working on cars with my dad. I always knew how to work on cars. I can change a tire still. I can change oil, right? Like I feel like an expert when it comes to my automobile life. So for you, what are those areas? Because once again, where we feel like an expert, we're automatically going to feel valuable because we're like, oh yeah, I could talk about this forever. I can teach you how to do this, right? And where we feel that we can teach something, that's a very valuable skill that you can then monetize and use it to command pay and drive up the value in what you have to offer. Okay, the next thing I want to look at is what beliefs do you have about yourself that are limiting your ability to see your value that you have to bring to the table and see your value in yourself? So, have you put a ceiling on your earning potential, meaning, oh, I can only make $150,000 a year and that's the most I could ever make? Not true. Right? You could start a business today. You could start a side hustle. You can start doing something that is completely out of your realm of comfort and start creating more money than you could have ever have expected, right? You can be in a place where maybe you leave the job that you're at now and you know your value that you have to bring to the table and you can command more for a different company. So don't ever subscribe to the lie that you can only make X amount of dollars because all that's going to do is limit you. Do you have a belief that you could never get on stage and present something or sell something or really demonstrate your value through the act of speaking? Are you somebody who's like, oh, I could never public speak? No, I would die if I did that, right? Because once again, that's just a limit that you put in front of yourself. Do you think that you need more experience in education to get to the next level professionally? Because once again, you don't. I know when I applied for my job at Estee Lauder, that job had a mandatory bachelor's degree requirement. I have an AA in cosmetic marketing and merchandising. Did they ever ask me about my bachelor's degree? No, they didn't. They looked at my 15 years of experience when I walked in the door and hired me because of that. So do not self reject. Do not abandon your dream because you think that you need more education or need to be more qualified. I mean, if you're going to be a doctor, right, then that's a different circumstance. But right now, I'm guessing with what you want to do, you're probably just selling yourself the lie that you need more experience or you need to be like somebody else or need to be farther along in order to get there. Not true. Don't subscribe to that lie. So, what beliefs do you have right now that are limiting you from getting where you want to go? Write it down, right? See this for yourself because all that's going to do is help you remove that block and remove that limit for yourself and help you step into seeing where you want to go as possible. And once you see it as possible, you're going to start doing. And when you start doing, where you want to go becomes getting there becomes inevitable, right? Okay. So let's talk about personal. I want to ask a really fun question, and I love asking my single clients this question. And that question is just like I asked you professionally, would you hire you? Would you date you? Would you marry you right now? Would you get into a relationship with yourself? And if you said no, I want you to write down all the reasons why. And if you said yes, I want you to write down all the reasons why. Because once again, when you start to see these things, either you're going to see your growth opportunities or you're going to see the value that you bring to the table. Either way, it's beneficial seeing both of these things. So when you think to yourself, like, oh, I would get into a relationship with myself, and yes, I would date me because I'm emotionally available. I'm emotionally mature. I'm emotionally healthy. I'm an emotionally supportive partner. I'm somebody who loves to plan adventure. I'm somebody who loves hard and always has my partner's back. I'm somebody who always champions my partner and really fights for their success because I believe in them. I'm somebody who manages my household like a boss. I'm always making sure it's clean. I'm making sure the kids are taken care of. I'm making sure the bills are paid on time. I'm making sure dinner's on the table, right? Like, think about what you actually bring to a relationship. Because I find so many people have settled in relationships and they're like, "Oh yeah, I just got with this person because I was really scared of being lonely and I didn't want to be alone," right? Now they're in a relationship where they're not feeling happy and they're not feeling fulfilled, but they were never even clear on what they brought to the table in the first place. They were just so happy that somebody wanted to be with them that they were like, "Okay, yes, definitely, let's get into a relationship," right? Versus actually saying, "I'm willing to be alone because I know my worth, I know my value, I know what I bring to the table. I know how your life is going to get better from being with me. So yes, I'm willing to say no to you because I'm willing to say yes to being with myself first. And until somebody can meet my criteria and meet me at my level, yeah, then I'll say yes to being in a relationship with you. And I'm going to say no to everybody else in the process until I can find somebody who actually can meet me at my level, right?" I want you to be that certain in what you bring to every relationship in your life, whether this is a love interest, whether this is a friendship, whether it could be a professional relationship too, it could be a relationship with your family. I want you feeling so secure to where you never feel like you don't belong, to where you never feel like you have to settle, to where you never feel less than, right? Because I want you to feel so secure and so certain in the value that you have to offer every single relationship in your life. Okay, let's get into the formula to help you determine the value that you bring to the table. So this is what I teach to all the women that I work with, right? This is never something that I've ever offered or ever brought outside of my one-to-one sessions. I'm so excited to bring this to you today because I truly believe this is how you will be able to see your value with clarity and ease by looking at these four specific steps. And I encourage you to look at this both personally and professionally and start using this formula daily for best results. Because when you start just thinking of this, it's going to unearth whatever it is that's keeping you from believing in your value or seeing your value. And then it's going to help you step into a daily cycle of just seeing yourself as a valuable person as you navigate this world. And that's just going to be how you begin to operate. That's going to be your subconscious belief about yourself because you've overwritten or overrode any sort of programming that was keeping you from seeing yourself in that way. So I want your self image for yourself to be, I'm a valuable person. Every room that I walk into, I make more valuable because of my presence in it, right? That's not an arrogant way of seeing yourself. I think so many of us as women are scared to think of ourselves in that way because we've been taught, oh, don't be, too sure of yourself because then it's going to be off-putting to people. No, I want you to be sure of yourself. I want your certainty in yourself to just radiate because that is the biggest and most powerful attraction energy that is going to pull getting what you want and all of the success you desire right towards you without you having to do a thing, just because you're certain about yourself. Once you get into alignment with who you are, where you want to be, where you want to go in life, and what you really want, and feel certain about that, it's then you step into taking effortless action. That is the biggest gift. I just did trainings on that last week, so go back and look at those trainings, the Diva Formula training and how to get your dream job, because we talk all about that in those trainings. Okay, these are the four steps to determine your value. So I'm going to walk you through the steps and then I'm going to go deeper into each of these. So step one is generating awareness, right? We can't see we can't change what we don't see. So you've got to see it in order to believe it. Step two is deciding to believe in your value, right? Because seeing yourself as valuable is a decision that you can literally start making for yourself today. Step three is demonstrating your value. And step four is making value deposits. So let me walk you through what each of these steps means. So first and foremost is awareness, right? I think awareness is where change begins. The catalyst for change is creating awareness. So be your own catalyst to create the change that you want to see in yourself and in this world. So I want you to get real with yourself because a lot of us are in the space where we are afraid to admit our truth to ourselves, and that only holds you back from getting where you want to go. So I want you to write down all of your skills that you bring to the table and write down also any skills that you want to build. So let's say you want to get better at X, Y, and Z. I want you to write that down just so you can see your own growth opportunities and then think about what support do you need to actually create those skills for yourself and enhance your skills, right? Do you need to work with somebody like me who's a coach and can help you feel confident as you get on a stage and present yourself, right? Do you need to, let's say your job is going to require you to do a specific skill set. Maybe you need to learn a different language and you need to work with a language tutor, whatever it is for you. Write down the skills that you want to build and what support you need to get there. Maybe you just need to go back to school and take a couple classes, right? Just write it down for yourself because then you can make the decision to enhance those skills. You can say, yeah, I'm going to decide to take the class. Yeah, I'm going to work with a coach. Yeah, I'm going to work with a tutor. Yeah, I'm going to go to therapy and work through all the pain from my past that's holding me back from putting myself out there, right? Okay, so I want you to generate awareness and then rank your skills in order of value. So what is your most valuable skill? The number one thing, like we talked about a second ago, your bankable skills, right? What is the number one driver of your pay and then start putting them in order of value. This is where you're going to realize without a shadow of a doubt, and I promise you, once you see this, you can't unsee it, which is such a beautiful thing. This is where you're going to realize why you get hired to do what you do. It's going to be so glaringly apparent as to why you need, or why they need you at this job, because, oh my God, look what I have to bring to the table. Look at this. Look at me, right? Like, I want you to prove that to yourself, and you're going to blow your own damn mind in this process. And this is going to create so much certainty and confidence in what you bring to the table. And I want you to come at this through the lens of curiosity, not judgment. Because when we start judging ourselves, we're just detracting from our, subtracting from our value, right? It was like the way to knock yourself down is to start judging yourself. So I want you to just to get curious of like, okay, let's have fun with this. Let's just write down all the things that I can bring to the table. And ooh, that's number one. Okay. Oh my God, I love doing that. Okay, that's number two, right? Like, and just start having fun with this. And you can even use the prompt of I believe I'm valuable because, and just see what comes up. And don't judge what comes up. Don't be like, oh, well, I failed at that one time, so that actually doesn't. No, don't talk yourself out of your value. Talk yourself into your value. I see so many of you all that are professionals at selling yourself on what you're not valuable for versus using that time to sell yourself on why you are valuable. Don't do that. Okay. When you start to ask yourself, I'm valuable because dot, 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 and then you just let your brain free think, what this is going to do is help your brain to see it. And in order to believe it, you need to see it, right? So let your brain see what makes you valuable, because then what your brain's going to start doing is selling yourself on the value, creating evidence everywhere you go of I'm valuable because. So I want you to sell yourself on your value. Just let your brain see all of the things down to an interaction, let's say with somebody at Starbucks. Let's say you're at one of your values is you are somebody who brings beautiful sunshine and beautiful conversations and kindness to every conversation that you approach. So let's say you walk into Starbucks and somebody's having a bad day and you can just tell. And you're like, hey, how are you? And they're like, yeah, it's kind of been a hard day. And you're like, oh my God, well, you look absolutely beautiful today. I think you are killing it at your job. I'm so happy that I could talk to you right now. Thank you for being here, getting me my coffee. I know my coffee is going to be delicious. Like, what are you looking forward to about the rest of your day? Like, I don't even know. I'm just making this shit up, right? But let's say you have the ability to just add a little bit of kindness into somebody's day, and that transforms that whole entire day for that person. And I know working in the service industry, when I was, a server, when I was working at McDonald's, when somebody was nice to me, and I was having a bad day because people are so mean, right? People, it's like pain is just projected, right? Like we project our pain, hurt people hurt people. So when people are having a bad day, it is so easy to project that pain and that bad day onto other people. And that happens a lot when you are working in the service industry. You pick up other people's shit, right? So when people would come and they were nice to me, it literally would transform my whole entire day. And I never forgot those people when they would come through the drive-through, or when I would serve them as a server, when I was working at Applebee's. Like, I literally never forgot those moments. And so let's say that for you is your skill. I want you to really lean into that skill of, you know what? I have the ability to transform people's day by just being nice to them. Right? What a beautiful thing to offer this world. We need so much more kindness in this world. I love that Gary Vee always talks about kindness as being one of the most underutilized strengths in business. And I think it is so, so true, right? By just being kind to somebody, taking a moment to see somebody and validate somebody in their human experience, that is worth its weight in gold, right? So what if that got to be one of your biggest skills that made you valuable is your kindness and that beautiful energy that you get to help transform somebody's bad day? Beautiful. Absolutely. Lean into that. Sell yourself on why that is valuable. Sell yourself on why every interaction, whether it's Starbucks, the grocery store, the gas station, doesn't matter. You're going to help every single person have a better day. What a beautiful gift to leave this world with, right? And I think about when, like, let's say we're on our deathbed and we're thinking about, oh, how do I want to remember or be remembered in this world? What a beautiful thing to be remembered as a very kind person. What a very valuable thing that you brought to this world. Wonderful. Okay. So I want you to write this down for yourself and start selling yourself on your value, because in order to truly feed all of that beautiful certainty and belief into your value, we have to see first what makes you valuable. So write that down. Step 2 in this is you're going to decide to believe. So once again, as I mentioned, deciding to believe in yourself and the value that you bring to the table is a decision. I think a lot of us are waiting for somebody to validate us. We're waiting for somebody to say, oh, you're valuable because, oh, these are the things that actually make you valuable. And we're waiting for somebody else to define this for us. Nope. I'm like, no, this is something I get very passionate about when I'm coaching, because if we're waiting, we're going to spend our whole life waiting. We're going to spend our whole life seeking validation. We're going to spend our whole life thinking that the answer is outside of ourselves. We're going to spend our whole life looking for that validation and not feeling good enough until we receive validation from the outside. You have to be your own validation. You have to be your own source of knowing, because when you know and you say, okay, I'm deciding that these are the three things to make me valuable, or whatever it is that you decide. You can pick 5, you can pick 10, I don't care. Whatever feels aligned to you. There is no right or wrong answer here. But when you decide these are my skill sets that make me valuable, these are the things that make me a secret weapon. When you make that and that decision is made by you, and then you feed all of your certainty into that, yes, you're going to go into the job interview like 100%. I know exactly why you need me. Here is why. And you're going to be able to sell yourself with ease because you've already thought about this. You've already decided what makes you valuable. And a woman who makes powerful decisions for herself gets paid. Let me say that again. A woman who makes valuable decisions for herself gets paid. You will always see that certainty in decision making reflected in your pay, right? So I want you to decide with confidence and not be like, oh, let me ask my mom. Are these the things that make me valuable? Let me ask my best friend. No, I want you to start being the woman who makes powerful decisions for herself today. You can do that. And if you've had a track record of doubting your decision making, or maybe you make and unmake decisions, this is a beautiful way to start because you decide what makes you valuable. Nobody else has the potential to decide that for you. And they might offer you something that you're like, yes, I love that. That's fine. Then you can decide to make that one a part of your skill set that you feed belief into. But I want you to decide for yourself and allow things, maybe you've had conversations where people are like, oh, you're really good at this. And you're like, yeah, I actually am. Fine. But I don't want you to sit around waiting for somebody to tell you what makes you valuable. You'll be waiting the rest of your life, and life is too short to wait to make this decision. Okay. So deciding to highlight these skills is one of the most valuable things that you can do for yourself, because what's going to happen is you're going to sit around that table and you're going to know what exactly makes you valuable and why you believe in your value. Okay. So that leads me to step 3, is to embody by demonstrating your value. So everywhere you go, I want you to take these skills that you've decided to believe in about yourself and actually bring them to life. So when you see yourself as a valuable person in this world and say to yourself, I am the woman who is valuable and I know my value, that energy and that belief in yourself and that certainty in yourself is going to speak volumes without you ever having to say a word. It is a certainty, a self-assured vibe that just radiates from you. And I think about, like, for example, when I interviewed for Estee Lauder, I wanted them to walk into this interview and just get hit in the face with my values. So what I did to get ahead of that interview, and mind you, I interviewed with 17 people. It was a lot. And they'd gone through 30 candidates before they hired me. So they knew who they wanted. And I needed to show them why I was that person, right? That was my job going into that interview. And I was so sure. I was so sure about the value that I brought to the table. So what I decided to do in that interview was set up the room as if they were walking into a Sephora. I wanted them to see my whole entire portfolio of products that I had developed, with the marketing campaigns, with samples to touch and feel and smell and taste and all the things, because I've developed thousands of products in my life, right? So what I wanted to do was have that environment to where they walked in and they were like, oh my God, her body of work is here. I didn't want them flipping through a portfolio or having to look at, pictures of things. I wanted them to see it. And then when they walked into the room, I was standing. And I was like, welcome. Welcome to this moment where you are going to get to understand the powerhouse that is sitting in front of you. And then I basically demonstrated my value. I showed them how I developed every product. I showed them, and I got ahead of it, right? I was like, here are the products that I would develop if in the case I was working for you right now. And here is how much money these products have the potential to generate for you. Here's the marketing story that I would tell about each of these products. Here's how I would relate it to the brand history. Here's the vendors that I would work with to make it happen. And they were literally like, and you better believe I got hired real fast. They went through 30 people. And then here I come. And granted, yes, I had to go through 17 interviews, but those interviews happened really quick. They just kept calling me back, calling me back. Like, the excuses that I had to find for my current role to get to those interviews was really challenging. I was running out of excuses. Like, I could only go to so many dentist appointments and doctor's appointments, on the fly. It was really challenging, but I went above and beyond to demonstrate my value, and my certainty in myself and these skills that I brought to the table spoke volumes. How could they not hire me? Did anybody else do that in their interview? No, but I did my homework. I knew exactly what I was going to bring to the table. So, of course, I got the job, right? So, when you decide to see yourself as a valuable person and decide to be the woman who just gives value everywhere you go, guess what's going to happen? You're going to believe in your own value, and that is just going to be who you are. It's going to be something where it is just your subconscious operating system of like, yeah, I'm a valuable person, gave value here, gave value here. And that leads me to step 4. So, the way to reinforce the belief in your value is by making value deposits. So, what is a value deposit? Did you all ever grow up with parents who had a cussing jar? So, every time you cussed, you had to like put money in a jar. That's the way I think of value deposits. Every time you create value in the world, whether it is through being kind to somebody at Starbucks, I want you to think about just a mental deposit of I added value. And what I like to do for myself is I like to assign it a value amount, right? So for me, my hourly rate, if you were to hire me one to one in just a normal session, and typically I don't do one to one sessions, but if I did, like for my booster sessions that I do with my clients after they graduate, it's $250 an hour. So let's say I got on a date of like a coffee date or something and just ended up helping somebody for an hour. I'd be like, whoop, $250 value deposit, right? Let's say I was on stage and, I do a lot of speaking engagements and I was on stage at an event and I was helping women create belief in themselves, helping them cultivate trust in themselves, helping women see their own value, helping women create success, right? That's a master of what I do or what I'm the master of in what I do, and thinking about assigning that a value, right? I don't know if I could assign that a value. It's that valuable, right? And that type of recognition of the value that I leave in this world, whether it's a little breadcrumb or it is massive value that I've offered on a stage, that just pumps me up and feeds belief into my value as a person. So I know when I give value, I receive value. When I do valuable work, I get paid. And the more valuable my work, the more money I make, right? So think about sports teams. The more plays these playmakers make, the higher the salary is that they make, right? So the higher the contribution, the higher their salary. So playmakers get paid. Value creators get paid. So if you were in a space right now where you were just that aware of all of the value that you put into this world, no matter what you do, and I don't want you to sell yourself once again on, oh, I didn't do anything that was valuable today. I'm sure you did. You just haven't trained your brain to see it in the way that we're talking about right now. So this is your growth opportunity presenting itself right now is to see your value. Consciously choose to take your brain to the place of saying, that was a valuable interaction I just had. Oh my God, I just did some really valuable work. Oh my God, I just taught my kid something and that my baby now knows this and that's super valuable. Oh my God, I just had this conversation with my husband and our relationship is going to be more valuable because we overcame that. Whatever it is, right? No value is too small. It all adds to something. It all creates value in this world in some capacity. You just have to see it, right? So I want you to train yourself to start recognizing the value deposits that you make in this world. So I think about how I look at myself and the way that I navigate this world is every action I take and the value that I offer this world gets me paid back with interest. And it's not my business to understand the how and the when. So I don't ever know how it's going to pay me back. I don't know when I'm ever going to receive that return on investment of offering this world value, but I always do. So I like to think of the ROI as none of my business. It's just happening. And this is where trust in the value that you offer comes into play, right? And maybe you go into a job interview and it doesn't lead to that job, but they loved you so much that they threw your name out to another opportunity. And then you ended up getting that job. You never know. You never know. So your job is just to show up, demonstrate your value, and show yourself all of the ways that you created value in the world every single day, right? So I want you to think about an example. I'm going to offer you for just a second. So I went to this event this weekend and I wanted to really get intentional about creating the value in this event, right? So by like thinking about it from the angle of like, okay, I'm one participant in this event with hundreds and hundreds of women. How am I, as a single individual, going to make this event more valuable? And I feel like nobody thinks about this, right? But they're just like, oh, I'm going to this event. It's going to be so fun, right? But I wanted to get really intentional because look, when we go into this daily cycle, I call this the value amplification cycle, right? We have to see it. So I had to see, who do I want to be going to this event? And then we have to believe it. And then we have to act as it. And then we deposit it, right? So this cycle is going to happen every single day. So when I was going to this event, I got really intentional about how I wanted to navigate this cycle because guess what? This is where growth happens. So when I was navigating this cycle for myself, I was like, okay, I really want to make this room more valuable by thinking about every conversation that I have as being life-changing. Like I have the power to have a life-changing conversation with every single person that I talk to, and I want to help be the person that sees whatever limit is holding them back from getting to where they want to go. I want to be the person that breaks down their limits. I want to be the person that helps them sell themselves on themselves. It adds value in terms of seeing the belief. And if you believed in yourself in this way, guess what? You could do this thing. And so I was thinking about how really every single one of us can change our life via one conversation. I think that I'm reading a book right now called Fierce Conversations. You all have to read it. And it talks about how every single conversation has the power to change your life if you allow it to. So I was thinking about how if I just looked at it as like, I want to have really powerful conversations, I really want to be an activator because I evoke things in people. I help people believe when they see things as impossible. I'm like, why? Right. So I'm a challenger. So if you give me a belief where you're like, oh, I could never do this, I'm like, why not? Right. I love helping people see possibility where they've already subscribed to impossibility. So if someone gives me an opportunity where I can help them break through a limit, and I can challenge a belief that I know is keeping them stuck, and I can help them step into seeing themselves as limitless and being capable, like I want to be that person for them, right? I love breaking down the walls of impossibility and helping women see what they are truly capable of. That is a superpower of mine. So that's who I wanted to be when I walked in this room. So, what I wanted to then think about, right? So, that was seeing it. So, I believed as I walked into this room, yeah, I believe that I'm going to add value to every single conversation. So, then when I went to actually executing it and I was demonstrating my value, I had 10 conversations with strangers, and every single one was like life changing. I had hugs, I had tears. People were literally like, oh my God, like I was meant to meet you today. Imagine if you had people saying that to you right now. Like, I was meant to meet you because you changed my life in a conversation today, right? So I knew I was reinforcing it because I was acting as if I had value to give because I did. I was acting as if I was going to have powerful conversations. And then I started having the conversations. And then guess what? I was seeing cha-ching, value deposit, cha-ching, value deposit. Oh my God, I just let another woman to take the first step to live her best life. Holy shit, that's amazing, right? And I'm like, okay, I can't wait to talk to the next person. So I made 10 valuable deposits in my value, in my whole entire value bank, right? I got richer because of that. I added value into the world. There's now success that is going to be created because of the conversations that I had with these women. And this is what I do every single day. Like, did I hit the dream job jackpot or what? Like, I cannot believe part of me that this is the job that I get to do every day. It is the most rewarding work I've ever done. And I think about when I got into beauty, it was because I wanted to help women feel confident by developing products. But that didn't work because they wash their face at the end of the night. So they might have felt beautiful and confident and secure with themselves while they were wearing the products I developed, but that confidence and that security and that beauty washed down the sink when they wash their face off at the end of the night. So I'm like, okay, I have to do this work on a more meaningful and deep level. And this is how I do it, right? Is by helping women believe in themselves, by helping women trust themselves, by helping women make secure decisions, by helping women get out of their own way and remove the limits that are keeping them from getting where they want to go and helping them step into their most successful self, right? Like I love success. So I was literally having these conversations just as I would naturally do because I wanted to be that person for them. I decided to believe that I had value to offer through every single conversation that I had, and I had the ability to help them remove their limits. Then I helped them remove their limits. That was the value I had to offer. And then I made 10 value deposits because of that. So I want you to think about for you, if you were going to an event right now, how would you make that room more valuable? How would you navigate that room? What value would you decide to offer that room? Then how would you demonstrate your value as you navigated the room? And what would those value deposits look like, right? So, this is the beautiful part about understanding how to apply this process of just seeing it, deciding to be it, right? And then acting as if you are it, because when you act as if, it's only a matter of time, right? That whole fake it till you make it. I hate that statement, but there's so much truth to it because if you just start showing up as the person who already has that result and believes in their value, it's only a matter of time before you're going to become that person. Then you start showing yourself the deposits that you made of the value that you offered this world. Guess what? You're just going to start navigating this world as a really valuable woman. And that's how I want every woman to feel about themselves. This is what I'm committed to doing in the coaching that I do, in the events that I lead, in the retreats that I lead, right? In the workshops that I host. So I want you to know something super, super important is the only person who has the abilities to subtract value from yourself is you. So people can tell you, maybe you go into a job or a job review and they're like, oh, this, and this about you. You could decide to say, you know what? And so what? I'm still valuable, right? Maybe you get broken up with, you get dumped, you get cheated on. Okay, you can use that as fuel to say, oh, I'm worthless. I don't have any value. I'm going to be a lonely housewife with 10 cats who dies alone. Or you can say, you know what? That person wasn't right for me. That means nothing negative about me. I'm still valuable. On to the next. You get to choose because nobody outside of you truly is able to make that decision for you. So you can decide to let all of the circumstances in life, all of the judgments other people have to offer, all of the failures and rejections that you're going to experience in life, you can let that define your value, or you can start applying this daily process because what's going to happen in life is you are going to decide to do things and doubt is going to come. That is a natural part of the human experience. And you know what that means when doubt comes is that you're doing something big that is outside of your comfort zone. So, of course, there's going to be doubt there. That is totally normal. Nothing is going wrong because the doubt is there. It just means you've left your comfort zone behind. So, in that moment when the doubt comes, what I want you to do is step into this process because this is where the growth happens, is deciding to overcome the doubt with certainty in the value that you have to offer this world. That's when things are really going to change for you because the doubt's always going to be there. So you can basically subscribe to your doubt and feed your dreams doubt, feed your success doubt, feed your job opportunities doubt, feed your relationships doubt, or you can step into feeding it value and believing in your value, believing in yourself. Okay. So the only place that you're going to go backwards in your mind is in your mind, right? So you're never going to go backwards in life unless you decide to. You're never going to see yourself as, like, oh, I'm so behind unless you decide to. That's all decisions that you can make. So the only place that you're going to go backwards is in your mind. The only place that you're going to subtract value is when you decide to do that in your mind. Once again, your success is all starting with your thoughts and your beliefs that you subscribe to every single day. This is the importance of having a secure mindset. So, what if your failures from your past, whether it's personal or professional, didn't make you any less worthy or valuable? Because it doesn't unless you decide it does. What if rejection meant nothing about the value that you had to offer? Because it doesn't unless you decide it does. And what if all the no's that you've gotten in your life had zero reflection upon the value that you are meant to deliver in this world? Because those no's don't mean anything unless you decide they do. So I want you to step into seeing yourself as the most valuable version of yourself by starting to apply this formula, right? Because when you are thinking this way, you're never going to think, oh, I'm starting from scratch because you're starting from experience. You're never going to see yourself then less than because at your core of it, you're good enough and you have value to offer this world. You're never going to feel like you're in a race to make up time because you're going to know you're not behind. You're going to know you've got the exact tools you need to get where you want to go and that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And you're always going to believe in the value that you bring to the table and what you have to offer, right? Because when you don't know your value, this is when you're settling for less. This is when you're saying yes to things you really want to say no to, getting in relationships with people that you are settling for, right? You're feeling less than, you're feeling low on your confidence, you're feeling full of self-doubt, you're feeling like you never measure up to your true potential. You're overworking to prove yourself, you're overthinking every move that you make, you're comparing yourself to everybody else and feeling like you want to be or you need to be somebody else in order to succeed. No, that all ends when you start living in this space. So I don't ever want you to be in a place where you don't know the value that you bring to the table. So I just showed you how to create it. And if you find yourself in a place where you're trying to do this formula and you're like, oh God, and you need more support, let's talk about it. Because I want to help you discover what makes you valuable on a very deep inherent level so you never have to question this part of yourself again. And I want you to start building your certainty in all of the unique and remarkable things that you have to offer this world because there's only one you. Nobody can do what you do in the way that you can because nobody has lived your life and nobody has the same life experience or wisdom that you have to offer. So it's really time, if you're in a place right now where you're doubting yourself and you're fearing all the things and you're doubting your success and you're just thinking, oh God, it's too late for me. I want you to focus on creating that inner security and confidence for yourself, right? Just in who you are and what you have to offer this world, because that feeling and that knowing of confidence and certainty is going to have you feeling so self-assured. And that's only going to help to amplify your success at light speed and set you apart from the competition because you're in a game of one. So let me help you win if you don't know how to really win for yourself. So if you want to step into this, I'm currently offering 90-minute success amplification sessions. This is what I started talking about in this video. They have been so fun because we're just getting you out of your own way, right? So by the end of our chat in this 90 minutes, you are going to be 100% certain on the exact value that you bring to the table. And this knowing in yourself is going to dramatically change the way that you show up in this world. And it is going to set you apart from everybody else for the rest of your life, right? This is something that you are going to have for the rest of your life. So this knowing in yourself has infinite ROI potential for you. So isn't it worth just investing 90 minutes to explore this and create the certainty for yourself? I think so. So if you want to do this, let's do the damn thing. You can send me a message today to book your session with me, or you can go to soulmakeup.com. Once again, scroll down, you'll see the option to book your session. And I truly cannot wait to coach you on this. I think that this is one of my most favorite topics to coach on. This is why I created the whole month of Success Up September. I'm having so much fun in the process. I'm like going to sleep every night, like so excited to wake up and talk to you about the next success tool that I have to offer you. So what's coming next for you is on Friday, I'm dropping our next training, and this is going to be all focused on your successful decision making. So if you're in a place right now where you second guess your decisions, you have a lot of drama when it comes to making decisions, you have a lot of confusion when it comes to making decisions, this is going to be so good for you because it's really going to empower you to decide with ease, certainty, and confidence. So the days of overthinking your decision making, that stops here once and for all. So we're going to do that on Friday when I teach you how to do my next growth formula, which is called the boss formula. So you're going to learn all about that on Friday. I cannot wait to teach you about this next success tool. And if you have any questions on what we talked about today, please send me a message. You can shoot me a message at soulmakeupcustomercare@gmail.com, or you can send me a message on Facebook or on Instagram at Your Soul Makeup, or on LinkedIn, Elise Conroy, and we can talk about what exactly needs to happen in order for you to see your value, because I want to show you. It's in there. We just have to see it. Okay? I hope this has been helpful. Let me know your takeaways. Let me know your questions. I've got you.